Well, hey, everybody. This is Arlissa, Educator to Trader, and we are back for another weekly recap video. This is the end of the third week of September. It is September the 20th. I want to walk you through the trades that I took this week to make over $2,600. Hey, we're doing great for the month of September so far, and I want to walk you through what I did. Okay, I'll give you a little bit from each day, show you what my entries were, my exits were, kind of show you my thought processes, and share all that stuff with you. All right, let's get into it. So on Monday, September the 15th, I took 3 trades. I took 1 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. So my morning trade was about 1042. So I'm right in between these two. This nice little tweezer looking setup right here let me know, or gave me the indication that that SPX was going to be going down. So we got like a 2-3 reversal if you're looking at your strats. So I went with 66.30, 66.35. So I'm about in this area is where I was looking for my sell leg, 66.30, 66.35 call credit spread, with the belief that the price would continue to go down, which is what it did. It went on down to the 20 period moving average. Now, what I did when I entered this trade, I also had a plan to use the PDT hack. I've talked to you about that in a previous video, and there's a link to it in the description. But the PDT hack is used to lock your trades and to lock in your profits, so that way you don't have to ride a trade all day to expiration and hope it doesn't get breached at the end or anything like that. You can lock it with the PDT hack and not have to use your day trade. That's what I did on that trade. I entered 66.30.35. The price went on down to 6600, almost 6602, and I was able to lock that trade. At 2 o'clock, at 2:02, when I saw, and the 2:02 puts us in about this window of time, right? When I saw there was going to be another reversal in this window, right? I went with a put credit spread, believing that price would stay above 6600, because 6600 was and is a psychological number. I actually did 65.95, 6600 as a put credit spread. Now, when I do a call credit spread and the put credit spread, I'm basically using the same collateral, not having to put any more money into the trade, but I was able to collect another set of profits and premiums on the other side and let that go on up. Now, again, I did lock it with the PDT hack. I'm looking at my notes. I also locked that one with the PDT hack as price ran back up. I also locked that one, so I didn't have to concern myself with whether or not we were going to get to the end of the day. And we notice here, end of the day, actually this trade, September the 15th or Monday, it expired at 66.15 or around 66.15. So neither of my trades, 66.30 or 6600, were at risk at that time. So both of those trades ended worthless, and I was able to keep $264 between those SPX trades, and I also had a XSP trade that day. I was able to keep all of those profits for Monday. All right, let's move on to Tuesday. On Tuesday, I took 2 trades again. Yep, on Tuesday, I took 2 trades. I think I see 2. Yes, I see 2 trades. Yes, at 12:54. Well, I took 2 of them. I took one at 11:54 and one at 12:54. So 11:54, I took a call credit spread 6600. 6620, 6625. Believing that price would stay below there, I got the call credit spread up here, right? And then after price came down, and then we saw this reversal here. This basically failed 2 down here. I also went with 65.95, 6600 about an hour later. So those were the 2 trades. Another iron condor for the day. The day ended at 6606. Again, neither of those trades was breached, so I was able to keep all of my profits for that day, a total of $505. I was able to keep from doing call credit spread and put credit spread, like I said, using the same collateral. Now, this is one area I wanted to highlight. You can use this kind of, and this is hard to circle it. That's weird looking, but that's a failed 2 down. If you're looking at the strat, which I like using the strat numbers, it's very, very straightforward. This is something that I teach in E2T University, which is starting on Monday, by the way. And if you want to join us, that I've offered a $500 off discount if you want to start E2T University on Monday, where we'll talk about the different charting, technical analysis, to include the strat, to include moving averages, to include VWAP, includes fair value gaps, it includes regular gaps. We got all that included, and we're including strategies like credit spreads, and all the good things are all in there for about 12 weeks. 90 days is what we're talking about, and you can be trading your way. Okay. Anyway, this is a failed 2 down, which is a sign of a reversal. So when you see the price comes down, actually this big old monster candle from the morning let us know that we're probably not going back up there. So I actually had a trade 66.20.25, which is just in the middle toward the top of this. And then I went below here, 65.95, 6600, just below this reversal. And price stayed in the middle. This is how you use the chart to help you determine your strikes. Same stuff I teach all the time, and this is how we trade in our membership all the time. All right, so that was Tuesday. Tuesday made a total of $505 in profits on Tuesday. Okay, so now we have to go to Wednesday. Wednesday was FOMC announcement day, where they were going to talk about the rate cut, whether or not we were having one and how much was it going to be. All that stuff happened on Wednesday. So because I realize that's a binary event, and I don't be trying to fool up with stuff that's going to run through my trades, I didn't trade at all Wednesday morning. We let the time go. 2 o'clock is where the announcement happened, which is right here where my mouse is. And you see how these wicks got crazy. Whoop. Price goes up, price goes down. Whoop, long wicks, all that's going on. I waited until all the dynamics happened. After the dynamics happened, about 2:51, so we're talking about 3 o'clock, right in here is where I entered my first trade. 2:51 and 3:01 is where I entered my first trade. I entered a put credit spread, 65.25, 65.30. 65.25, 65.30. So I'm actually way down here. I'm way down here, way down. I'm way down here, right? Away from all this volatility. And I got in 66.30, 66.35. So I'm up here. I'm beyond this wide candle that happened at 2:30. I went outside of the bounds of this big candle because I felt like that was as wide as we were going to go. And then after that, the price would stay somewhere in the middle, and it did. I got outside of the bounds. I waited. This is the point. We have such a hard time in being patient. All day, price is really not doing anything. It's kind of just sitting still, waiting for the fireworks. Once we had fireworks at 2 and 2:30, I waited till after that, see how high and how low this candle went, and then I went beyond those bounds. That's what we do as sellers. We don't need to be in the fray hoping for the best. We can wait till everything settles down, and then we can just ride it out. And that's what we did. So on Wednesday, I profited $272 with that trade. Not a whole lot, because actually at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday, I am teaching, supposed to be actively teaching. Notice I entered my trades just before I went into the classroom. And then I had to trust that the price would do what it was supposed to do and stay between my bounds, and it did just that. Alrighty, that was Wednesday. Let's move on to Thursday. Now, with all the stuff that happened on Wednesday, notice how Thursday is just like a nothing. a nothing burger. Thursday the 18th is just kind of quiet. Just pop a little bit, drop a little bit. Not a whole lot happened on Thursday. Kind of just sitting still, absorbing the move. Not a lot happened. This was the biggest move that happened. Is the second candle of the day at 10 o'clock. And on Thursday, I did a wide iron condor that day. I went again 65.95, 6600. I went under here. It was about 10:23 in the morning. And I went 66.80, 66.85. Now, when you go wide like that on an iron condor early in the day, you don't expect a whole lot of money. So I got $25 on each side. But even though you're not taking a lot of money, you also don't expect the price to come anywhere near you. That's what happens. The further away you go, the less money you take in. But you're also believing that there's not going to be a whole lot of challenging happening to your trades either. So I did that in the morning, and at 12:55, which would be around in here, I also did 66.30, 66.35 put credit spread. 66.30.35 put credit spread. Actually, that trade I thought was not going to be okay, so I got in and then I got out and then got back in again. I got back in again. I was like, oh no, this is not going to do right. Then I got back in after it kind of came down into my zone, because my trading plan says that if my short leg is breached, I will close the trade. So I did that, and then the price recovered, and I still went back in. No, would I do that? I think I actually ended up. No, okay, I'm thinking about a different day. I actually closed that put credit spread later in the day, and then I got similar strikes, but I ended up with 66.35.40 on the call credit spread side. Okay, let me get my days right. So when the price started coming down into the zone, and I saw that this was being challenged, I closed that trade, the 12.55 trade, with my PDT hack. This is where the PDT hack works also as a stop loss, and it keeps you from having to use your day trade in order, but you don't have to sit there, and use a day trade and lose money. You can use a PDT hack to shut off a trade, recover some of your buying power, and go do something else with it. That's what I did. All right. And then I did other trades. I did at 140, I did 66.20, 66.25 put credit spread. I did that at 140. And then later in the day, at probably like 3:45, my late day trade, I did 66.35, 66.40 as a call credit spread. On Thursday, I profited $253. Even after the loss that I took with that 12.55 trade, I had other trades that would supersede that, and was able to mitigate that loss with other trades. $253 on Thursday. Again, the PDT hack is a lifesaver, because it will allow you to close a trade and lock a profitable trade. And it will also give the opportunity to lock a losing trade, or a trade that's being challenged, without you using your day trades. That's the whole thing. You want to be able to have some power. Not that you can't use your day trades, because you have 3 to use in a 5-day window, so you can use them. But you also want to be able, you want to, have the option to close off a trade and still have your day trades for subsequent days. You're not trying to use them up if you don't have to. All right, let's move on to Friday. Friday was yesterday, and Friday was OPEX. It was quad witching. It was OPEX. It was all the fun for the most part, right? First thing in the morning, we gapped up. SPX gapped up, and it pulled back to fill the gap, and then it kind of ran back up and sat still. It sat still, just kind of doing nothing. And we were on live trading with my membership. I do that every Friday with those who are in my membership. We trade SPX together. And if you're interested in joining that 0DTE membership, where we trade SPX and XSP together, you can look for that link in the comments or in the description. But we were there on the call together, just kind of sitting. And then the next thing we know, price takes off, which we kind of thought that was going to happen in the afternoon. 2:30, basically people resetting their monthlies, resetting their quarterlies. All those things are picking up. So that runs the market right back up. And it did. right? We did have some trades. We had 66.55, 66.60 is what we got into earlier in the day. And I told the members to be sure to put on the PDT hack. Okay, I put that out for everybody. I said, be sure that you plan on locking this up. Well, the price fell down right here. And I was so busy watching for the reversal right here that I did not personally lock my own trade. Oh my goodness. So I had the PDT hack set, but I didn't check to make sure that it locked. So when price turned around, I was still managing the group and whatever, and kind of forgot all about it. Next thing I know, I'm like, wait, no, my own trade was being challenged. So I ended up with the 66.55, 66.60. I had to close it, and I closed it for a loss. Again, I used my PDT hack, but I had to close it for a loss, and then I put on additional trades. But I did this reversal here. I did 66.10, 66.15 as a put credit spread. I also was down 66.85, 95. I did several trades underneath here as price went up, right? 66.20 and 25 as price went up. 35.40. So I was still going up, basically traveling along with the price as it went up. And then when we got to a place where I felt like we weren't going up anymore, I did do 66, 65, and 70. Now, the difference between my Friday and my previous days is Monday through Thursday I'm teaching. But on Friday, I'm at my computer and I'm at my station. I can actually look at the chart, so I can trade a little heavier because I'm able to watch what's happening. During the week, I'm not able to watch, so I keep it light. You keep it light when you can't watch. But on Friday, I'm able to watch. So I was able to trade throughout the day and mitigate the loss that I sustained by not locking in my PDT hack. And by the time it was all over yesterday, I had made $1,380. I did have some SPX weeklies and some 1DTEs that factored all in there as well. But $1,380 was Friday. And when it was all over, said and done, for the week, I had $2,674, I believe it is. $2,674 was my weekly total for the third week of September. We're off to a grand start in September. Made over $1,100 the first 2 weeks, and then made another $2,600 this week. Okay, so I shared with you the replay and the recap of this week. I went through the 5 days of trading, shared with you my trades, talked about the PDT hack, talked about E2T University, which is starting on Monday. If you want to get in on E2T University, 12 weeks of learning with me, good foundational learning for stocks and options and some strategies for option selling, go ahead to educator2trader.com. The link is in the description, and get yourself signed up for $14.97. This is the $500 off discount. You can get yourself started with us. We're starting on Monday, September 22nd. All right. PDT hack information is there. All of my other training courses, if you're interested in credit spreads or how to do cash secure puts or covered calls or joining the membership, all of those things can be found over at my website, educator2trader.com. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'd love to have you here. We have passed over 400,000 views, and I'm so excited to know that the people are watching. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. And I want you to know that we are here. We're going to stay green, and we're going to get this money. All right. Goodbye, everyone.